Can I what? Sure. How many of you are still working? Whoa. Okay. Next Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Something involving bonding. Not certain yet.
I won't be here again.
Watch the video.
I'm gonna watch it that time. But I'm ready.
Have a good time.
I'm working on this 14. No, it's all the way in Virginia, and we have to rush. Then I was like, I'll be missing this out. This is this year with my internship, something like that. I'll go to my internship in this.
Okay. Just watch the video and catch up. It's not like it's 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch 90 minutes worth.
I know.
But you have to watch the note-taking portion.
Last night, I think at 10:30. And,
I get it. But at some point, you gotta watch.
I could watch it tonight.
Particularly if you don't go to the internship. You can do it during that time
Okay, I
period.
have to go today. Because I have it.
So this is an S1. So this would be S what?
2.
So is it paired or is it a single?
Paired.
They're paired. So everybody in group 2 not only has 2 electrons, but how do we draw the electrons? Together. So there are 2 electrons together. Do I need to draw my electron configurations to know that?
No.
No. Okay? This is why I don't have to walk around the room drawing them to know if you drew them right on your paper. I can look over your shoulder and go, yep, it's right, and walk on. Okay? Now, what did you notice about the transition metals when you were drawing them? What sublevels are never the outer shell? Did anybody ever notice? Maybe it's only me. But what sublevels were never the outer shell? F,
D.
P.
F, and who?
P. D. E. F. G.
I'm a little worried about you over there.
I said F.
Yep, F and D. It was the P people that worried me. All right. The F and the D sublevel were never in the outer shell. Okay? Ever. Why can F and D never be the outer shell? Because what, Cynthia? They're more than 8. What's the maximum number of outer shell electrons? 8. How many can D hold? 10. So if D can hold 10, can it ever be the outer shell? No. How many can F hold? Can it ever be the outer shell? What happens if you get an S and a P together? It gets how many? It gets 8. Okay? So the most you could ever have in an outer shell is how many? 8. And that's when you add S and P. So D will never be the outer shell. So if you're here in D, what's the outer shell always going to be? Either this or this plus that. Okay? Everybody got that? Most of the time. Okay? Most of the time, it's going to wind up being this alone. But you could have this and that. All right. So what happens if you wind up over here with your dot diagrams? All right. You have 3 electrons. What are you going to wind up with there? How many dots? 3. How are they going to look?
Separate.
3 separate?
One's going to be paired and then one extra. No.
All right. What did you start with?
I don't know.
2 that are what?
Paired.
You got an S2, and then you have what? A single. All right? So what's going to happen when you go to 4? So you have an S2, so they're paired. Now write that here. This will be paired.
Oh, I was right.
Yep. So they're paired there. So what's going to happen here? It's going to be single. What's going to happen here? Do they pair immediately?
No.
All right, think about it. You got a P sublevel with 3 lines. So what happens when you add another electron? It does a single, right? So a 4th electron will be single. What happens when you get another one? So when you get to 15 or the 5th electron, it's a single. Now what happens when you go here? Then they pair. So now we have a pair. What happens when you get here? You have a pair. And what happens when you get here? You have a pair. Okay? Now, do you have to do it that way? No, you can keep drawing it. But for those of you who like shortcuts, you know, 2 of them are paired. Then you have one single, another single, another single. Now they're paired, paired, paired. Just a shortcut. For those of you who like shortcuts and want to know how I'm doing it so fast. Now, we're on day 45.
So like 45 days left.
Very good. We're halfway there. But we're 15 days away from losing the what?
Oxidation.
Jesus.
So,
That's crazy.
oxidation
I'm
numbers.
just so ready to graduate. And I got a year left.
Right.
All right. So oxidation numbers.
Damn.
All right. Group 1. Every element in group 1 is positive 1. Okay. Every element in group 1 is positive 1. Okay. Every element in group 1 is positive 1. Every element in group 2 is positive 2. Every element in group 1 is plus 1. Every element in group 2 is positive 2. Okay? Oxidation numbers vary in the transition elements.
Lovely.
There are 2 that you have to memorize. They don't vary. Okay? Zinc, and I'm going to circle it right here, is plus 2. And silver is plus 1.
Who wrote that in there?
I don't care. It's your periodic table. Remember, these are notes. It's a study guide. Do you get it on the quiz or the test? No.
So you're saying for D, the oxidation?
For example, if you looked up iron on your oxidation sheet, how many numbers would be listed? 1 or multiple? It would have multiple numbers, meaning I'd have to tell you or give you a Roman number. But for zinc, would I give you a Roman number?
No.
No, because its only number would be what?
2.
2. Very good, Alondra. Okay? For group 2, would any of those come with a Roman number?
No.
No, because everybody in group 2 has what oxidation number? Every one of them has a 2. Okay? Everybody in group 1 has a what?
1.
Has a 1. They do not change. And I'm going to write that at the bottom about Roman numbers in a few minutes. Okay? Now, what I just say?
No.
You lose it at day 60 because you will not get one on exam day. This is why we're learning how to read these things off the periodic table.
Wait.
I told you by day 60, you will have the skills you need to do this without an oxidation sheet.
Can you come look at this real quick?
Plus 3, plus or minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, and 0. The only one over here you need to know is aluminum is a plus 3. Now, I'll let you write that down, and then I'm going to change the size to write something down for Caleb.
Can you
In the
look
back.
at this real quick?
A 0?
Huh?
Can you come here?
Meaning it has no oxidation number. We're going to
So-
talk about why in a minute.
This one is a single, 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 single.
What are you talking about? Single, single, single.
What you write there? Single, single, pair, pair.
Yeah.
So did that one go down to SB, or did you just not have it through?
No, that means everything in that column is going to have a single
Oh,
dot.
all of this.
The whole column. Yeah.
All of this.
Yes. All right. So when we talk about writing names, okay, we know the ones that have only one oxidation number do not get Roman numbers, right? So let's talk about that briefly. The nitrogen column is minus 3.
You said aluminum.
Aluminum is a plus 3.
Even helium.
Even helium's a pair. All right. Group 1 which is +1. Group 2, which is +2. Zinc, silver, that one was +2, +1, and aluminum, which is +3, will not have a Roman number.
Red is at the bottom. And no, that is red.
Okay? So, remember how we had to look on the chart to see which elements needed a Roman number and which ones didn't? And we had to look to see who had more than one number and who didn't. These are the elements that will not have more than one number. Okay? Everybody in group 1 and group 2 have one singular oxidation number. And those 3 elements. If you're not one of those elements, you must have a what? You must have a Roman number. It's that simple. Okay?
1, 2, 6, 7, 11 will not have a Roman number.
So you're either going to be in group 1, group 2, or one of those 3 people. If you're not one of them, you must include a Roman number.
Well, how do you know what Roman number to put?
You have to figure it out from the formula they gave you.
What?
The same way we learned how to write a name or a formula. Okay, by backwards crisscrossing. All right, if they're giving it to you, then you'll be able to backwards crisscross. If they're wanting you to write the formula, then they have to tell you what Roman number to use. I would give it to you, or the state would. Okay, they can't expect you to pick. All right, everybody got what they need off the chart? So, if we go back to arsenic, which was our opening question today. I told you there would be 2 more things you had to tell me about arsenic this morning. All right, so arsenic is here. Now, if I asked you its oxidation number, you would tell me arsenic's oxidation number would be what? It's a -3 because it's at group 15. And how many outer shell electrons does it have? It has 5. Now, you should be able to do those things we did in the opening with any element on the periodic table for tomorrow's quiz. Okay?
Tomorrow's quiz.
I told you about it yesterday.
Are we like thinking?
No.
What's it on?
It's what our open.
It's on that periodic table we're working on right now. I told you about it yesterday.
Yeah,
I told you about it yesterday so that you guys had time to study.
Which one?
Then study for tomorrow's quiz tonight.
Oh my God, but we don't get this tomorrow.
Correct.
Why?
Correct.
Wait, Miss Wong.
Yes. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Very good.
Wait, so we have it Thursday?
The test is Friday.
The test.
So we have a quiz tomorrow and Thursday?
No, you have a quiz tomorrow. We're taking Thursday off. The test is Friday.
Thursday we're gonna review.
It's
Yes.
It's not. I feel like that.
The quiz is Wednesday. Yes, dear.
Yeah, what's the start?
Test is at the beginning of quantum numbers. When I started that dual wave particle nature of light stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, there. Here. Let's see if we can do this. Maybe this will make y'all feel better.
Oh yeah, it's multiple choice.
What?
What says?
Yeah, the test is multiple choice this time.
Yes.
No, it says directions on that.
I'm bound to have something in here. Let's see what I have. If it'll load.
They call that thing where it says,
Yep.
You did it, though.
That looks
and then they got
So
mad.
did we get extra what? Extra credit.
the top 5. Probably right. What up?
I don't do that crap.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I don't have time to do
I ain't got time for I hate that joke.
Yeah. All right. This ought to be one that would be very representative of what you should be able to do after yesterday. All right. If you need a laptop, grab a laptop. I don't care if you use your phone. Don't complain if it freezes up though.
He was like,
Shut up. No. And she's like flipped out all those words, so it's really funny.
Who was absent today, by the way?
Jay. Oh my God, I have to tell you this. Herman got arrested.
What? Going back to Central.
He's having an affair with his 5 years younger than him. She was
how old is this?
like 11, yeah, 11 and younger.
Wait.
Having sexual intentions.
Have that conversation somewhere else in the small room.
It's in the newspaper. What? Allie Washington's friends all the like some of them were posting to do on the Central, free Herman. So like,
No.
Guys, not in here.
It's not as funny.
Not in here.
Oh, you're still best.
Seriously, I have 2 years of retirement. We are not having that conversation in here.
I'm still best friend. Look at
All right, who am I waiting on? We're up to 22.
How old is he?
Probably like
All right, who am I waiting on? Anybody? Okay, so anybody's not there, it's on the board. Because we should be missing one.
Oh, wow.
Now, some of these have the atomic numbers in it to make it easier to find. You need a periodic table, people. It's on the periodic table. You may want your orange ones so you have numbers also.
good idea.
Because I've given you atomic numbers in a lot of these.
If I just guess, is that okay too?
Sure, knock yourself out. I don't care.
Wait a minute.
Which one?
Up and down.
I missed that.
Oh, wait, y'all said, what? 3.
Which run which way?
Down.
Up and down.
So it's the number. I told you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
So brutally.
10 group 14.
It's
The 4th day? I'm like,
okay,
okay, right.
Most of these are set at 30 seconds.
Move.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
There's 2.
Just the end.
Oh, it's the end.
I forgot my other people with all the answers. Okay, I was right.
Good.
Hey.
Hey, 28 place. Behind faith.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
You should be proud. I should get
The alkaline metals are group 1.
Oh no.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's calcium.
I gave you the atomic number, so I gave them to you. So y'all are yellow. Where's calcium?
Where is calcium low?
People, they're in numerical order.
I'm such an idiot. I don't know how to do that.
Four.
Yes! Oh, oh,
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Read the questions tomorrow on the quiz, people.
You like hater.
Liquid.
Which one's the liquid?
Oh, I got this. I don't got it. I got it.
we're gonna
What's the other one? Other than bromine, what's the other liquid? Mercury.
What's the name of the group 17? I don't know.
What do you know? Don't ask questions like that.
She's just happy to be getting answers.
Exactly.
Why is it my
Wait, what?
Bro, this is BS. Hold on. Where am I not messing with What are non-metals?
Is it square or is it triangle?
I guess probably wrong.
Oh my god. Is it square or triangle?
Oh yeah. I mean, 8th place get like.
Where are non-metals at?
On the staircase.
Non-metals are in the yellow and the orange. What's on the green?
Metal.
Metalloids are the staircase. Yellow and orange are the non-metals. What is all this blue?
Metal. She is pissed.
She's sure.
This is probably the easiest question that is asked.
But it takes.
If you get one that easy on the exam, people don't get stuff like that wrong. Yes. Yes, what can we do for you?
You just enter it. I'll let you go.
What do you want?
Can you write me a recommendation?
Right now?
No.
Just bring it. What do you need?
Start the next question. Start the next one.
Next week?
Yeah, we want to
Next
play
week. Cool. What do you say? And you got like the rest of this week, the rest of next week?
Is it generic or do I have to look at it?
Triangle or square? Triangle, square.
It's just a generic recommendation. You have a resume. Email it to me. I have that on my desk here today.
I just want to know what place I'm in.
Thank you. That is at least something.
I'm crying, y'all.
Don't cry again.
So I can't find these.
They have the atomic number.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're so smart.
But this one doesn't.
Well,
Hey,
it's wrong.
They're the atomic number.
H helium.
One's got the mass. Carbon's got the mass inside.
Metal.
Look next.
Please turn off.
It has one.
The fuck?
Which one is it?
No.
grade, I would have like 100, so we like 80s. 80s, so then at least I pass this class. I don't care. I'm gonna pass.
I'm in 8th place
Sorry.
behind Ceci.
We got it all right.
Hallelujah. This one better be.
Aaron got this one.
Oh my god, I hate you. I hope you choke. Are you sure? Put a virus on it. We'll be like, how you choke?
Good.
Hold on. Where's Middle
I forgot what that means.
What even is
We
Middle
just talked about what this meant.
I know that's the issue. I forgot.
Where is Middle
They have a triangle.
Really late.
Somebody's got me a lot.
Is it iodine? What's that called? Oh, this is things on the staircase.
So where are the metalloids at again? You're right. TE would work. I need to fix that.
I don't even know.
I need to fix that. Remind me when this is over to fix that.
I'm in 7th. 8.
What is that? It's in between. Okay, hold on.
It's one of the sections on the
I got this
table.
right. I know I did.
Shut up. Oh, these? Is it these?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so smart.
Pure genius work.
What?
No, it's all you.
Your finger's right here.
It's not here.
No, put it in like this.
What was that? Why did you do it?
I'm in 6th. My head.
Uranium's a what? It's an actinide.
Oh, I got it.
No, we're gonna be in the gym.
Oh, we are. You know what? You know what? I kind of like know the trick. That's the only one I know.
7 is the group. 2.
Oh, that's what I got that.
2. Those are the 2 who picked the 3. I think picked the energy level. I got nothing for the person who picked green.
What's wrong with y'all?
Maybe I'll just
Ignorant.
accidentally hit the
Look,
wrong
look
thing.
at me. Look.
And then.
Ew.
All right, last one.
No.
Oh my god.
I feel retarded, but you know what? Better be right.
Please do right. Or please be right.
Right?
So it better be the right answer.
I need to fix carbon. I keep putting it as fast instead of as upper.
What? Fifth place. Good
Carbon is a pencil, people.
Those
Y'all
not,
like
it's
when
gas.
Cart.
Carbon is graphite. Those of you writing with pencils are writing with
Then why do
carbon.
we have carbon dioxide?
Hey,
Sulfur is a yellow solid.
It was
Top
carbon
5 should get 2
dioxide.
points extra credit.
No.
Explain carbon dioxide to me.
Top 5 should get extra credit. Look at me.
That is fabulous.
I've never.
It's a gas.
All right, find your notes.
Yeah.
All right, I need to fix that one that y'all said had 2 answers. Was it the lanthanide one? No, that was not it.
It was metalloid. Yeah, metalloid.
It was the metalloid one.
Yeah. Put the following in the middle. It is. You can make 2 of them right. Just put the chain. Yeah, just put both of them in the right answer.
You can make multiple.
Yeah, you can make both of the right answer. She don't want to. She's just changing it. I want to go home. They have to change what on their, the number?
Yeah, I need to fix. So this one that had carbon in it. And I need another one that's got carbon somewhere else.
Strip.
No, I'm trying to edit because I've got carbon in here twice with the wrong number. Yeah, it doesn't give me the answers. But I can't see. Let's try this one. No. Down to at least 6. Let's try 7. Nope. Not 7. Let's try 8. Nope. Let's try 9. Yep, that's it right there. Alright, now we need to hit save. Alright, now, you guys should be good to go on what you need to know for the quiz tomorrow.
Wait, is that on the quiz tomorrow?
All of that's on the quiz tomorrow.
Bro, if I had that periodic thing, I'm set.
You're going to get one just like your one you got today.
I didn't get one today.
The quiz tomorrow, guys, the quiz tomorrow, for those of you who aren't listening, the periodic table you're getting looks just like the one you got on the quiz today. Okay? So, when it's time to take the quiz, the periodic table I handed you this morning is the same one you get for the quiz tomorrow. Now, the last topic that we have for the test
One page right back for me.
Yeah.
Don't write them.
All right. So we're going to talk about how oxidation numbers come from outer shell electrons. Now, this also leads into the next unit that we'll study, which is the periodic table. So some of what we've done yesterday and today is not really going away in the next unit. You will also see it on the next test. Because I can't sort and separate it and take it all out. Now, we're going to start with group 1 and look at the pattern that group 1 has to explain how this works. Now, the easiest way for me to do this is to write the configurations for probably 5 elements in group 1. We are not going to write all of the configurations for all of the elements in 8 groups to do this. After we do this, Dylan, be quiet. After we do this for 1 or 2 groups, you will most of you, will get the pattern. And so it will be much easier for us to shorten this as we get towards the other end of the periodic table. So for hydrogen, the configuration is 1s1. For lithium, it's 1s2, 2s1. For sodium, I'm going to start with shorthand so we can write less. It's neon, 3s1. For potassium, AR, 4s1. I'm going to change it so that it's a little bigger for you look back.
Are you doing this just like a pattern, or we're going to do every single element?
Nope, we're going to do it to find a pattern. And then I'm going to stop doing it so that we don't have to keep doing it just because I'm going to be tired of it.
Yeah, what do
I just want to think about this.
And we will write less in the next group because we will not need it all. All right. Now, as you're writing that down, we want to be able to find the highest energy level or the outer shell in each of them. And we want to be able to figure out the number of outer shell electrons.
my God.
So if we look at hydrogen, what's hydrogen's outer shell? Our highest energy level. Okay. What's the highest energy level in lithium?
2.
And sodium?
3.
And potassium?
4.
And rubidium?
5.
And cesium.
6.
All right. Now, everybody okay with finding the highest energy level? Okay. What do you notice is the pattern of everybody in group 1?
+1.
They all have 1 electron in the outer shell. Now, this is why they're all in group 1. Okay? Now, when I write G1, I mean group 1. Okay? Because I'm not going to write group out all the time. So, all of those elements aren't in group 1 because they all end on S1, or they have 1 electron in the outer shell. They can't be placed anywhere else on the periodic table because they have 1 electron in the outer shell. So when people ask, why is hydrogen in group 1, even though it's a non-metal and it's a gas, it's in group 1, why? It has 1 electron in the outer shell. Okay? Now, we want to talk about how it gets an oxidation number. Okay? That's where we're going with this. Does everybody have what they need? Okay. What?
Really, I'm not worried about this thing. The things it's gonna be starting bad. But hopefully we'll only just go up from there.
Okay.
Really close.
Are we caught up now? All right. To illustrate where the oxidation number comes from, I'm going to use sodium. Okay? And I'm going to draw a Bohr model. I'm just going to draw a dot for the nucleus because the nucleus is irrelevant. Now, how many electrons can I draw in the first ring? How do I know it's 2, Nakia? We've learned this. That's why I'm asking.
There's 2 in every one.
Say that again, Chris.
I don't want to say that.
All right, we have the first energy level, and how many sublevels are in the first energy level? And what sublevel is it? And how many can go in S?
2.
That's how we know the first sublevel is S, and the first energy level can only hold 2 electrons. Okay? So I asked that question. All right. How many can the second energy level hold? Try again. All right. Test is Friday. The second energy level.
3.
Okay, y'all better pray this question's not on the test.
If it's not 6, then we're doing 4. Right. Well, what would be different? Second energy
If you're like me, you're visual. You like to see it written instead of just auditory and liking to hear it. All right? The second energy level, how many total electrons?
8.
That's a better answer.
We just drew my
Okay? Now, that's the same thing as writing n equals 2 and me asking you the electrons. Okay? The second energy level is that ring. All right? How many sublevels are there? 2. What are their names? And how many electrons go in S? And how many in P? So 2 plus 6 is? Okay.
Right.
All right. Now, how many electrons does sodium have altogether?
I got a disease.
10, 11.
23.
All right, I hear 11 and I hear 23. One of those answers is going to be right.
Wait, what's
11.
I said, how many electrons does sodium have?
23.
I hear 11 and I hear 23. One of them is going to be right.
23. 11. Because you said
Feel like a tennis ball. 11, 23, 11, 23. All right. Which one is atomic number and which one is atomic mass?
The big number is atomic mass.
Okay. So the mass is 23 and the number is 11. So which one tells the electrons?
11. But yeah.
I meant to write 11. All right. So the electrons are the 11. The mass tells the protons and neutrons together. Okay. So how many electrons have I drawn in thus far? I've drawn in 10. So on my third ring, I only need how many more to get to this 11? I only need one more. Okay? It's the nucleus. I told you I was just going to draw a dot because I don't care how many protons and neutrons there are. Now, this is what sodium looks like in the Bohr model that's not technically correct, but it works for our purposes. So, I'm sodium. I want how many electrons in my outer shell? Anybody know?
Sodium.
All right. All atoms have a goal in life. This is where bonding is going to come from in a week or so. All right. Some of y'all want a college degree, maybe want to get married, have kids, you have a career in mind. Everybody has a goal in life. Okay? Let's just pretend. Right now, I'm 28 plus years. Well, almost retirement. On the weekends, I can almost see it. I'm so close, okay? I see retirement. So,
Wait, real quick question. What grade is your son going to be when you retire?
he will be a junior.
So your daughter's a junior now, so she'll be a freshman in college.
She will be finishing her freshman year. He'll have 2 years to go.
That's crazy.
I know.
That'd be like your mom retired right now.
I know. I'll still have to work and do something, but I won't have to teach. Now,
What do you want to do? You should be a bartender. Please be a bartender.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's not going to be teach. That would be something. You know, I had a student once invite me to come to a strip show in Charlotte.
Hey, Miss Marty. You come see me in
If y'all ever go into that career,